Okay, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another amateur League of Legends VOD review. Today I'm going to be analyzing our match against the Astral Spire in a Diamond Masters League. This was a pretty rough series for us. Ended up being a 0-2 series. So yeah, we're going to analyze what went wrong and see what we can do better next time around. So in the early game I was pretty even with the enemy Hui. Doing a lot of trading. I think I was standing outside of my minion wave too much to try and avoid his QE, but that meant that I was getting hit by a lot of QQs, so I was getting poked a lot, but I was able to get a little bit of a CS lead, and as you can see there, I do start my game off with a solo kill by flashing in. Yeah, so when I catch him using his abilities on the wave, I know he has no way to trade back, so at most he can trade flash with me and live, but best case I get the kill. So yeah, decent start, although there's something to be said that, like, trading flash for a kill in the early game isn't always worth because it can make you susceptible to ganks that might put you on worse death timers. Like, waves in neutral, he doesn't miss a ton from that death. So, for my first death here, the lane's in a pretty neutral spot, and the enemy Karma just walks up from base, which I wasn't expecting. And I kind of just get tagged by Fear into Karma, Tether, and his ult. Like, just between the two of them, they're able to output enough raw damage to kill me, stemming from Hui's Fear, and I really wasn't expecting that damage. I think the only, like, concrete mechanical thing I could have done differently is just to have dodged the Hui Fear in the first place, because I think it's a pretty slow, like, linear skill shot. Yeah, let's slow it down a little and look. So he knows I'm trying to bully him off this cannon, which is why he throws the Fear. I mean, he also has his teammate there, and I don't react to her. Like, she's on vision for at least like half a second or so here, and I'm still walking up. As soon as I get hit by that, there's not really a ton I can do. Like, it would have been, you know, use W to try to dodge the Fear and walk away if I had played a little more heads up. So then I'm pretty pushed up into Hui's side of the lane. Enemy Gragas has just done grubs, and so it had been maybe like 20 seconds or so, I'm expecting that he's in his top jungle, but I knew this was a possibility that he could have just cleared Raptors and come mid with level 6. And since my enemy had a bigger wave than I did, I should have just backed up to avoid this happening. But instead, I get hit by the Gragas ult towards Hui, and once that happens, there's not a lot I can do to escape without flash. There might be a case where, like, I can use ult to peel myself a bit. Like, if I burn R here, I probably at least pull Hui away and make it harder for him to land the follow-up damage. But once that ult comes down and once the Fear connects, it's pretty over. I am trying to deny this plating, and I think that there's an opportunity to, like, go for Hui as these minions are about to die, try to make him tank some tower and kill him. And the idea there, I think, is not bad. Like, I'm able to pull him into turret, but the execution is not great because I walk up and tank a Karma Q, even though, like, the ball was already in a position to do that play. I didn't need to walk closer to look for follow-up damage. And then I also stand in his E and get hit by his ult while I have flash up, so I'm too tunneled on trying to land the next part of my combo and get the kill instead of making sure that I live. Because he's got a support there, like, if I die, they have a lot of opportunity to push and contest these grubs that are coming up, so that death is pretty bad. Even though I get his flash and his ult, yeah, I miss a lot of farm and basically give them free grubs. So after they had done those grubs, I believe, I'm trying to kind of sneak a plate before Gragas shows up. I think I have the timing for it, but I just don't. He comes out at me really fast. Like, the Gragas at this point had been pretty fed also. He got, like, 2 kills bot early, I think. Yeah, and then, like, our jungler tries to make a play off the ult, but that just takes him under their tower, and he dies too, and the game is just spiraling out of control. Like, we're 2 kills to 11. There's not a lot more we can do, so yeah, I think this game was a lot of just, like, awareness of roam timers and I don't know, mental stack overload when there were like multiple targets present, like not thinking about what I could do to to focus on living instead of trying to trade damage, I guess. Because yeah, from there things just kind of further deteriorate. I almost get a solo kill on the enemy Varus just looking for shutdown, but unfortunately while I'm trying to juke his ult, he shoots it kind of weird. Like I feel like I'm dodging down, I'm expecting that he'll throw it in that direction and then I juke back, but he actually just would have missed it if I'd kept walking at him instead. And so even though I flash QW, he doesn't quite get tagged by it, and then I end up dying. But we were in a really rough spot. I mean, we just have to go for something to try and make the game like at all winnable, and that didn't work out. The Hui is really fed at this point. We're able to grab his shutdown by sending a whole bunch of people top, which is good, but ultimately we are still just too far behind. Yeah, three kills to 24. Hui gets pushed away from my ult there, which is also unfortunate, and then like we're losing a 4v5 with 3 inhibs down and Trundle's taking our base. It's very, very doomed. Yeah, so that's the first game. Felt really bad. I think mental was not great after how that one went because everything just like totally fell apart. We didn't have like a ton of like agency with our bot lane, so they weren't able to like counteract the roams necessarily. And like without making it to mid game with decently even stats, Briar is also I think like really hard to pilot in this situation. And we put our top laner on 80 Udyr, which like I don't think he'd played before. He'd only played like the Phoenix variant. So this was just a rough game all around. So let's go on to game 2 now. Game 2, we switched to red side. I was playing Syndra into Orianna, which is a matchup that I like. And yeah, let's go look at some plays. So game starts out pretty good for me when I find the stun onto the enemy mid laner and just take him out with ult. Find a good solo kill, and this time with a much better wave state. Don't have to burn my flash, so I get a good quality reset off of the solo kill while up a good amount of CS. Things starting off well. Then we got sort of a mixed bag of a play where my jungler gets caught by the Wukong contesting Crab, and so I try to help him out. Like Wukong, they trade flashes. I land a stun on Wukong, and he ults. And then like they try to get me under tower, but I'm able to live. So not too bad so far. Then we look to continue the fight, but the enemy top laner had roamed into the bush and kills our jungler, and we pretty much just call off the play completely after that. So yeah, we lose one, but I think the overall look on the play was like not too bad. If I communicate this a little clearer, I think Nocturne just goes on Orianna here, and we just kill. Like I sort of calmed it, but it was while he was fighting Wukong, and I don't think he really had the ability to like pan his camera down for that micro in that moment. We got another sort of like mixed play here where we try to find a pick on the Taric, and I'm a little too indecisive here with my movement. So I am thinking, like, yeah, I'm expecting my ult to kill him. It doesn't quite because he's got the healing and he's just pretty tanky overall, plus the Orianna shield. We almost get him there, and I think if I pop this E, like, well, I guess I can't because of the Orianna ult, but if I throw E onto that field of spheres, he's definitely dying, and I think I hold it a little too long here. Although we get the kill with Nocturne ult, and then I'm able to stun the 2 enemies that remain. I think Janna walks up too far, though, for that W on Orianna, and then gets engaged on by Wukong, and it ends up being a trade of supports. But I also like lose my flash trying to get away from the play and stuff. So overall, not too bad. Could be better, but like there's signs of life this game. We're moving around the map more proactively, and we have a pretty even game state heading into the mid game. So I've just been like kind of slowly building a lead over this Orianna, but I've had a hard time like fully punishing her just because Wukong and like Taric have been around. We're finally able to get another kill on her by expending the Nocturne ult to go down there. Yeah, so we had that pick, but our support had been caught looking for vision bot side, and then our AD carry, I have to call this play out a little bit. He's standing on the other side of the wall from the Orianna and just gets caught by her ult and then jumped on by multiple enemies and dies, and like that's a play where I think there's no reason to go for that. Like yeah, you might poke her a little bit, but there's no way she's dying. We don't have vision of the other enemies, and like her ult is such a powerful initiation tool. Unless you have like unless you're like deliberately trying to bait it with flash, that's pretty tough spot to be in. So then we're in like full kind of disengage panic mode. I throw my E out too quickly there, and yeah, we I think lose 2 at the end of the play. Yeah. Which leads into them getting Baron as well. A good flush and E from our Zac just barely saves him, but yeah, I think enemy team ends up getting Baron. So we try to trade Dragon. We're expecting that they'll contest it, but they end up actually like not going for it at all. They just take their reset, and so we get the Dragon. So not the worst objective trade. Now the enemy team is attempting to siege with Baron, so I'm trying to come back from the sideline to help out my team mid because our jungler just got picked, and I'm on a flank here. I don't know if it's warded. I'm just taking a bit of a gamble here, but the Wukong's movements like tell me, oh, this is definitely warded. I'm in danger. I've got to get out. So yeah, here I am trying to leave. I'm able to slow him down a bit with that E as he's taking the blast cone, but I have to use flash to get away from his ult. And then he overcommits onto me, which is great. Like the Orianna misses her ult, and off the back of my ult, I'm able to get that kill. And I almost find Ezreal here, but I mismanaged my cooldowns just a little bit. So like, yeah, my ult takes out the Wukong, and I have a sphere picked up with W, but I'm just panicking like a little too much about the dive and throw it immediately onto like where he would have been. And then I'm also like, I think I'm expecting my, I don't know, I basically throw E and Q at the exact same time instead of giving enough lead up for the Q to stun Ezreal. If that hits, I think I actually kill Ezreal too under tower, and that would have like absolutely turned the tide of the game, because I think Ezreal was quite fed at this point. We do end up, I believe, getting Orianna off the back of that play because she just recalls in a dangerous spot, and we're able to grab her. But nice little outplay on the enemy looking for me under tower. So off our tempo, we attempt to go for Baron here, just because we saw 2 enemies bot after that previous play. So we're trying to force TPs, just get those out of them and then leave. I burn stun, I think, at a bad time here because I'm expecting Taric to try to engage, so I throw a QE combo, but the Qs aren't really well placed for the choke that he's in, and so I get no value out of it. And then we're a little like indecisive on how we're leaving. So I call that we might be able to nuke this Mord before he can ult someone. But he flashes over and steals our AD carry into Death Realm. That starts off the fight. Then Zac gets interrupted out of his E by Wukong ult, and things are just like really going poorly. I might have been able to blow up Orianna there before the Taric ult came down, but I wasn't 100% confident in it, so I use it to take out Mord instead. But the fight is going not our way. I'm trying to pick up the pieces kinda, because I'm really the strongest member of our team here, me and the Smolder, but I eventually get chased down, and that gives them Baron back this time. So now that they've got Baron, we're getting siege on. I'm expecting this ult to kill Ezreal. I don't know how it doesn't, to be honest. I think it's just Taric's like shield, and he probably has a locket as well, I would guess, but yeah, this was disappointing because I thought I'd found a play to just did not like stall out that Baron, because I hit the Q, E, W, Q, and ult, and you can see his health drops like 460. But I guess Storm Surge doesn't do quite enough, and I guess that wasn't quite in the execute threshold. So a bit of a bummer. But then our Zac gets in a fight with Mord in the top siege, and I whiff this stun, but thanks to a good ult from Arjana, we're able to pick up the Mord under tower. We lose mid, but I mean, they have Baron. There's a good chance we're losing at least 1 tower there anyway. And then a call comes in from our Zac attempting to TP behind them, but the Orianna W just gives a little too much speed, and Nocturne goes in to try and buy time for Zac, but that doesn't quite work out. Like, they've got a Wukong ult spinning, they've got Taric ult down, and so the engage kind of just falls apart, and yeah, I think that ends up being a 1-for-0. I'm like I think this fight can still go in our way if we play it properly. Like, there's some execution errors here where I think like Zac goes in a little before any of us can follow up. I land like a pretty big stun, and unfortunately Wukong has Sterix, which I didn't note, and he completely survives my ult there. And like I think, yeah, we might be able to still advance and deny these guys dragon, but it's not the most reliable play. Like that Orianna was so close to dying. If I had another Q in the bank, she definitely would have died. But yeah, we have to back out, and I think that gives them soul. And from that point, we are kind of just trapped in our base. Yeah, so a fight starts top, Mord starts TPing. I don't know why I'm going for that cannon. Like, that doesn't put me any closer to a spike in a meaningful way, and I need to TP to this fight, because this is, like, pretty game-breaking. Like, Mord's TP finishes at the time that I start mine, and, like, I still end up in a pretty good spot for the fight. But then, when I stun Mord, I'm trying to see if I can blow him up before he can ult anyone else. But unfortunately, he ults our jungler, my ult fizzles, and that really takes a lot of my power away. Like, I am by far the strongest member of the team. My ult is something that's too important to burn on, like, a 50-50, does this guy ult now or not? So then the fight, yeah, goes pretty poorly for us. A lot of my ult spheres fizzle out. If those were still on the ground, I would have hit it, like, a really big stun and maybe been able to save the game, but they just have too many people up. Yeah, I'm trying to protect the tower, but he ults in on me with the Taric stun. Even though I get away from that, there's just too many people up. He has that Taric shield to live through my ult again, and we lose the game. So pretty disappointing series, but I think game 2 looked a lot more competitive. I'm very happy about how I played that game, and like to me, that's kind of the most important thing, is just that I'm playing up to a standard that's good for me, more so than whether we win or lose. Yeah, so hope that was informative, and I will see you in the next episode.